IGN Game Scoop.
Welcome back to Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. This is Justin Davis.
Hello.
That's Anthony Gallegos. That's Brian Altano.
Hi.
Since Brian's here, I couldn't steal his line.
Yeah,
today.
normally he says brat.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Did you guys all have good Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
It was pretty all right.
Are there any stories to share? Anything of note that happened?
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, if people don't know this. I like Christmas a lot, too. That's the first question, right? Come on, what about Christmas?
Yeah.
And my thesis is that Christmas carries with it, it's a very stressful time of year as well. I like giving and receiving gifts. I like seeing my family. I get to travel back. But, you know, it's got all these stresses and pressures. And Thanksgiving's just like the most laid back, like easy. Even cooking a turkey is easy. It's like the easiest meat.
I saw Red Dawn on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
How was that?
I thought that movie was awful.
Yeah,
but
it's getting really bad reviews.
But I saw it in my hometown theater, where my hometown is very conservative. Very much the people in that movie, and the people in my theater were like really into it. They didn't like that me and Mitch kept laughing. So
Yes.
That movie's been done for like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
It's been on the shelf.
And the thing is I thought they had changed it from being. Originally, it was supposed to be about the Chinese invading, then they changed it to Korea, and then eventually they got the okay and changed it to China, I thought.
Oh.
But the movie's about North Korea invading, which is just so dumb.
Yeah, they changed it. Like,
It's so
it was
dumb.
originally Chinese, and they had to use, I think, like CG to change out all the flags and like all their uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
But are the actors Chinese or Korean?
They.
Okay,
Racist corner. We pushed you right into it.
I loved the original Red Dawn
Me
when
too.
I was a kid.
Yeah,
Who
it's a great
didn't?
movie.
Everybody did.
I know. And speaking of movies from that time period, Anthony was just telling us that on Thanksgiving, he and his family watched Enemy Mine, which is so random. The most random.
Louis Gossett Jr.'s best performance, I'll say.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't think he'd be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, every other time, Louis Gossett Jr. always plays the same stern military dude in every movie, and then in this one, he's like playing like
A gurgling alien.
an alien life form.
That's
but
true.
he does a good job of like establishing that they have a culture. That movie is great. That is a fantastic movie.
It holds up?
And the
I mean, I
CG in
haven't-
it still holds up really well too.
it wouldn't have been CG at the time.
Well,
might have been. Like, the Abyss
some of
had
it, some of
CG.
it, the space scenes and stuff with the spaceships amongst the planets.
I think it's all puppets
probably-
and paintings.
It's probably a combination of paintings and models, but I'm saying that stuff holds up really well. And so did like the monster parts with like
Yeah.
the antlion monster that
Yeah.
comes out of the ground. Like, that's still such a cool movie.
Wow, I need to watch that again.
So-
I love that you watched that.
How
We
is there
watched-
no remake for that?
No, let's not do
It's time
it.
to reboot Enemy Mine.
Somebody said it for Red Dawn.
Well, yeah, that's true. We watched The Avengers.
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
I think Thanksgiving is a good holiday to just like hole up and
Both
just
of our
watch.
movies had the same actors in them.
I watched all 3 Toy Stories.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's good.
I wanted to cry by the end.
Well,
The third one.
It's
Well,
so sad.
it's bleak.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's so dark.
I didn't know if you were like just sick of it or something.
No, never.
You believe for a moment
Yeah.
that they're.
I know.
No, like that movie gets you like looking around your apartment. You're like, oh man, I haven't played my Wii in a while.
Yeah.
I hope it's okay.
It gets you right in the feels.
Yeah.
I'm planning to do a double feature of 2 movies from that time period that I watched at the same time when I was a kid. One of them is the perfect Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Yes.
Yes.
The other is Friday the 13th Part 7. I watched when I was a kid. I watched them both like right at the same time.
Really?
I want to do a double feature with both those movies.
And I will fight anyone to the death that tries to tell me Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who would tell
Obviously.
you that?
I don't know. There's
Girls.
people. They're out there.
Girls?
They exist.
Don't girls.
Don't even
Anyway.
start with me, Gallegos.
Let's talk about some video game stuff. We're hearing the next Xbox could possibly come in 2 versions. One being the next generation console we would all expect it to be. The other being, let's see what we say here, a more affordable unit aimed at the casual market that uses Windows 8 as its operating system, and it won't be able to run the latest AAA games,
Yep.
but it will support downloadable casual games
This
from Xbox Live.
corroborates what I heard from a friend in development at one point around E3. They told me that the next Xbox would be 2 versions. One would be closer to like an Apple TV that's aimed towards getting it as a media center device in people's homes. Like,
Sure.
this is the one that they just want to sell it to do Netflix. This is basically their Roku competitor.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll both have. I'm sure they'll have Kinect integrated.
Exactly, and it'll still be Xbox branded.
Yeah.
And then this totally goes in line with what I had heard months ago.
I mean,
So,
this is
could be true.
Yeah, I would agree with this. I don't know. I don't have the sort of inside info that you've gotten, but I mean, it makes sense because we've talked about on GameScoop before about, Microsoft just dumps all kinds of stuff under that Xbox label now. Like, it's a big success for them.
Xbox Music.
Yeah, they really like it. Like, they've always been successful in the business world, and that's how they became, one of the biggest companies in the world. But they've had trouble getting, like, consumers on board in any real way, besides making, people kind of have to use Windows. And so with Xbox, like, Zune didn't work, but now it's Xbox Music, and their tablet business didn't work, and now there's talk of there maybe being an Xbox tablet. So, yeah.
But like, what does that have to do with Xbox 720?
I'm just saying Xbox 720 would be like the next console, and then this one would just be called like Xbox Home.
Yeah.
Well, that to me seems to be a different thing than the next Xbox coming in two versions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess it's more just that this one would be there, like they said, to play downloadable games.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good idea. I think it's fine. I think, I use my PlayStation more for watching Netflix and Blu-rays than actual games. And so, yeah, I mean, consoles are these digital devices already. Like, it's already there. And so, Microsoft is just kind of trying to do a better job of maybe serving that audience that doesn't care to spend, whatever it's going to cost, $299 or $399 to get a new Xbox where it's fancy graphics, but...
That makes sense.
Well,
to
it
me.
helps them too with their install base, because imagine if you're trying to get people developed for Xbox tablets, and you're like, well, okay, there's like 1 million of them out there, and they're like, well, I could develop for that or develop for iOS, but if they can get something like this, like a home cheaper system to develop, and you can develop for both simultaneously, then you have a much larger install base to work with.
And I hate
Sort of, but you're also kind of splitting up your same install base, though. If you're saying you can play this on the tablet and this on a 360 controller or a 720 controller or whatever it is, and the deluxe 720 or whatever doesn't come with that same tablet, then you're telling a developer, pick a path.
Yeah, but that's already the case. I mean, developers are already choosing whether they want to make a game for iPhone, or whatever. Like, it's not really a path. Like, well, we could make the next Uncharted, or we could make Angry Birds. Like, no, like, your size and, the nature of your business already dictates kind of what kind of game you're making. You're right that they have a problem communicating. They're going to have to make sure that it's super crystal clear to everybody. Like, you don't want someone buying a game and then it doesn't work on their Xbox. Like, that sort of deal.
Which I think is like the problem Nintendo's probably having right now, where their marketing is a disaster. They have a cool new system in their hands and nobody knows what it is or how to use it, or if it's a new controller for the Wii, or if it's a new DS. Or
speaking of that, that's a good segue into our next topic, which is we're hearing reports of a new Wii console
Original
Wii, like a Wii Mini console that could be released as early as December 7th.
How much smaller do you need to make this thing?
This wouldn't surprise me necessarily, though, because even towards the end, even after the GameCube was out, they were still releasing 64 SKUs for a long time afterwards.
Well, and obviously that's been Sony's game plan, forever. So,
but Nintendo just released a new console, the Wii U. It's been out for a week now.
Yeah. They also announced in that same week that they are not making any more software for the Wii. They are done with first-party software, so they will not focus on any new games for that system. That if they're saying, hey, we're putting a new redesign out, it's your job to go hunt down all the old games. There's no new compelling software that says, I need to jump in right now.
So a new Wii SKU requires advertising dollars in marketing. And right now when they're just launching a new system, why wouldn't they just put all their...
Yeah. I don't know, maybe they just see the way that it worked out for Sony, because Sony continued to sell a crap load of PS2s even after the PS3 was out.
Those new SKUs are often cost-cutting measures. I don't remember specifically what Sony cut, but I think they cut USB ports and they cut other things. When they slimmed down the PS3 and PS2 and PS1. Right. Each one of those consoles, used cheaper parts, was cheaper to manufacture, was smaller, less packaging, and so they want to continue supporting their system for years. I don't think it's necessarily a move to. We want to sell another several million Wiis, so let's redesign it. But it's just like they want to continue supporting it, over the next few years, and this allows them to squeeze a little bit more dough.
I mean,
not support it, but I mean, people are going to continue buying it. So these console redesigns are often designed to, increase profit margins.
To me, it just seems strange. Like they have a new system out that plays Wii games. It came out a week ago. Mm-hmm. Push that. People are already confused enough as it is. The Wii was already redesigned. Right, there was the Wii Family Edition, which was horizontal. They stripped out GameCube support.
I completely forgot that existed.
Yeah, most people did. Yeah, that's the thing. It's horizontal, and it doesn't play GameCube games. And other than that, it's just another Wii. So, but the Wii sold 300,000 systems this week.
Yeah,
the Wii and the Wii U sold 400,000.
Right.
So there's still a market for it. So, but to me, Nintendo's kind of like an excited puppy at a party, where it's like,
Nintendo is?
yeah, where they're doing okay, and one or two people pay attention, and they start doing tricks, and then everybody starts looking, and they're like, oh man, I can do all this, and they just tear the whole house down. It's like you have a 3DS XL right now that's doing well. You have the Wii U that's doing pretty well. Both platforms have great games and are getting good support, and then they come and do something like this, which is stupid.
I don't think this is stupid. Like, I don't think this is a sign that they're gonna have to. You're assuming that there's gonna be marketing behind it, and I don't assume that at all. Like, it can just be, this is the Wii. That if you want a Wii, this is what you get now, and it costs Nintendo X dollars to manufacture instead of whatever the old one did. That would be my guess. I wouldn't expect a television campaign or get the new Slim Wii.
I think that all of their focus is better on telling people and explaining to people what the Wii U is right now, because I think that most people still have no idea.
That I completely agree with. It's a gigantic mistake that system isn't.
To most people in a magazine ad, it looks like that drawing tablet that put THQ almost out of business.
Draw U?
Yeah.
You draw?
You draw.
Ubisoft has one of those out right now
Yeah,
too.
they
do.
It's called Drawsome.
Yeah. It's
Dross them
not
into
clear at all. The
bankruptcy.
biggest mistake with the Wii U is that it's called the Wii U and not Wii 2 or a different name.
Totally agree.
For sure.
Totally agree. And
Because-
then you see people in their commercials playing with Wii controllers, and
Yeah.
it's
And
just
so you
like,
think that you're just buying a tablet?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
$400 tablet.
Well, it sounds like you're buying the Wii Fit balance board, like my mom has the Wii Fit balance
Yeah.
board, or a Motion Plus. It's not clear at all that that's a new console.
It's also the same company that started the year with a handheld device that played 3D games and then made a bigger version of it that sort of looks like the Wii U gamepad, and it's just like, enough is enough. I mean, it's weird that we get it because we write about this stuff all day, and I'm sure kids get it because they have their finger on the pulse of that, but casual person walking into a store wanting to pick up a new game console is just going to go, oh, I'll just get the Xbox because it has Call of Duty.
How many of those 300,000 Wiis that were sold were people going into the store and accidentally buying the wrong thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sure, yeah. We've also seen data recently that this holiday season, kids want an iPad more than they want a Wii U.
Yeah.
The Wii U's been out, like we said, for a week. It's sold 400,000 copies so far.
That's actually very healthy. I mean, I don't know what expectations were, but they'll be
A lot of us basically to handling those first week sales, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So by comparison, the original Wii sold 600,000 units in its
Yeah.
first week.
Okay.
So there's that. And like we were saying, the original Wii just sold half of that amount, 300,000 this week.
Which is really crazy if you think about it. That's actually like the more surprising thing there. But something I was like telling our news editor was that I feel like Nintendo has probably overshipped the system this time around. I think they put too many systems in stores. I don't think they push it enough in the marketing perspective so that people really understand, as we said. But it's also, I think that after the GameCube, they really had no idea what success was anymore. Like, aside from handhelds, to have like the whole world wanting their console again, that was a feeling Nintendo hadn't had in a while, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they were saying, we have this new thing, everybody wants it. It was like that year's Tickle Me Elmo, and everyone was going crazy for it. Demand was through the roof. Like, the eBay auctions for it were crazy. And now this time around, they're probably like, well, we want to make sure that doesn't happen again, so we're going to send out more than we need. And people are like, we're not that hot on it as we were the last time.
Yeah,
So-
wasn't Andrew saying when he was home, the Walmart just had piles and piles of Wii U's
which I
just sitting
mean,
out?
just anecdotally alone, like, that was not a story you heard at all in 2005, 2006.
We've got a quote from Reggie, Nintendo of America's president, where he says, "Wii U is essentially sold out of retail. It's like they're not even sold out."
Yeah.
It's not a sold out at all.
Yeah.
Like, you could find one 2 days after it launched, even in GameStops, like, they got in more. It wasn't like they were like, we don't know. It's like, yeah, we'll have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, it's obvious the Wii was a phenomenon. It's the best-selling console ever, of all time. And so I do think that puts Nintendo in this
Is that
position.
true?
I mean, well, maybe I shouldn't say that quite so
I want
definitively.
to say the PS2.
Yeah, well,
and
okay.
I know that the margin between the PS2 and the Xbox and the GameCube was something like 100 million systems.
Yeah.
And for the Wii, it sold more than the Xbox and the PS3, but more people bought consoles with traditional controllers
You're right.
this
Let
generation than
me
they
thank you for saving me. I'm going to roll this back. I'm not sure that it's the best-selling console of all time, but it's Nintendo's best-selling.
Well.
Yeah. Shit. Now I'm not even sure that it's Nintendo's best-selling console.
No,
so I'm like, how many?
I think it is.
Maybe
I
we
think it
shouldn't-
is.
I think
we
it
don't
is.
have this
We
data.
don't know statistics.
I believe that Wii Sports is their best-selling game of all time. I know that surpassed the original Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, so fair
Even though
enough.
it was a pack-in as well. So yeah, we're in the weeds here.
But what
for
I
sure.
was getting at was that the Wii was a runaway success.
Yes.
Right? And so Nintendo's in this position where, the Wii U is not coming as strong as the Wii out of the gate, but that's tough. Like, what were they supposed to do? Like,
Yeah.
you can't just, like, success can't follow success indefinitely. Like, at some point, this thing was absolutely bananas when it launched. And so
Yeah.
for anything to be less than bananas when you're half a banana now, like
Like,
then
what's
everybody's
the name of that
disappointed, like-
second single from that Call Me Maybe chick?
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
Tough act to follow.
So yeah, whether it's their best-selling console or not, that's what I was getting at.
I see. Brian, you think you're the only one of this group that has a Wii U at home?
No,
have
Anthony
one
does
too.
too.
You have one too. You bought one too.
Yeah.
You,
There's nothing to play on it so far besides Mario. That's like the only. Well, okay, Scribblenauts too. To be fair,
Scribblenauts is great. Nintendo Land's a
But-
lot of fun. It's a weird game to like.
but I'm still waiting for the game that every night I want to go home and I'm like, I want to play that.
And the
Right.
thing
I
about a
don't
game
feel
like Scribblenauts is, I'm sure I haven't actually played the Wii one. I'm sure it's great, but there's like a really, really great, awesome one on iPad that's $5. Like, is the one on Wii 10 times better?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. Really?
Well, yes.
Because you can type Mario and Mario pops up.
No, because it's got an object editor, so you can create anything.
Oh, that's
Whereas the iPad one's limited, and it's a lot. The iPad one's a lot more linear. This one's sort of just an open world. But I'm enjoying my Wii U for a lot of reasons I didn't expect, and which is, you know, when you're sitting there with your girlfriend and you're like, let's find something on Netflix, and you have to stare at the TV and like click through, and you're going through, and like you're just like, there's nothing here. You can do that by yourself now, and she can watch TV on her own, and it's just like independent. Or I'm on Amazon and I'm like adding stuff to my instant list, or being able to play a game, pause it, hit the web browser, and be like, how do I find this star coin right from the same device?
Yeah.
Stuff like that's cool.
The gamepad functionality is cool.
Yeah.
I just want more games to play on.
Yep, totally
Already.
agree.
but so now, Brian, you seem really big on New Super Mario Brothers U.
I love it. Yeah.
And you're not as crazy about it? It doesn't-
I'm not as crazy about playing it by myself. That's all. I like to play that game with friends,
Yeah.
and I haven't had any friends come over.
Aw.
So
But that's not Nintendo's problem.
You haven't invited me over to play.
I did download it though, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that's super
So
cool.
you know, I did not buy it at retail.
Brian, does it surprise you that New Super Mario Brothers U is not the best reviewed Wii U game?
Oh, what is?
Darksiders 2.
Mass
On
Effect.
IGN?
Mass Effect.
No, like on Metacritic.
Oh, on Metacritic.
Yeah.
Wow. That does surprise me. Yeah, but I think a lot of it can be said for the fact that Nintendo just put out a new Super Mario Brothers game a few months ago that people weren't too hot on. I actually really enjoyed it, but they showed both those games off at the same time, and it's like, again, typical Nintendo. Like, we don't know what we're supposed to be paying attention to here. So they showed both those games at the same time. One of them that we thought was the more interesting one turned out to be the less interesting one, and the really great one turned out to be Mario U, which I think by the time people got to, they're like, it's more Mario. But the more you dig into it, it's actually
Yeah.
It's hard, I guess, for like a casual person out there, it's hard to be like, oh, did you play the new Mario Brothers? And they'd be like, they don't even know which one. It's like,
Yeah.
New Super Mario Brothers U or
Yeah.
New Super Mario
Super
Brothers
Mario
2?
3D Land?
Yeah,
3D
which
Land's
one
not
is
that
it?
old
What is
either.
the new Mario?
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
they've spread the series out into so many different directions. So I'm hoping they got all the new Mario shit out, out of their heads now, and
there's a little
that's
bit of-
good. They did that. Give us like another Galaxy. Give us another like Mario World.
No,
type
don't
of,
don't
or-
give me that. Give me something else. Like I'm feeling a little bit of brain fatigue, honestly, and I bought a Wii U. But
How many new
I want
Mario
something
Brothers
new.
games have there been? Like with that in the title.
New Super Mario?
Yeah.
Like that's a
There was
little.
one for the original DS, one for the
So
Wii,
even if it's
one
not a
for
Galaxy.
the 3DS, and one for the Wii U.
I want
So
the
it's time
next.
to
I want
stop
the
that
next
as well.
evolution of Mario, whatever that is.
So like what they did with Galaxy.
Exactly.
How do you go bigger than a Galaxy?
I don't know.
Once you go Galaxy,
That's
you
not
never
a
go
me
back.
for me to figure out. I don't care.
So when they eventually they're gonna have to stop calling these names New Mario.
Yeah,
right? Like
'cause
that's
they're
gonna, that's gonna have to end. But then it's also, have you played the new Super Mario Brothers? You mean New Super Mario Brothers? No, I mean Mario this.
Yeah, you get into like a Spaceballs conversation where like the new Super Mario Brothers is now old.
Right.
Because there are 3 old new Super Mario Brothers now.
Yes.
What the fuck?
And none of that's really, like, the levels are all very fun, the games are fun to play, but again, it comes back to this strange marketing choices
Yeah.
of that company.
Yeah,
Like,
the only first party game Nintendo could announce at this point that would excite me is not another Legend of Zelda because I don't want to find the bombs again. It's just like a new Metroid Prime. Like you have a controller with twin
Yeah.
sticks now.
New
twin
Metroid
proper-
Prime.
Well, I'm saying, but I'm saying with proper twin sticks, there hasn't been a new actual Metroid Prime for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Like not that crap that they had, like that other Metroid game that people tried to swear that was actually kind of cool.
No.
They
Other
lied to
M?
themselves.
Other M?
Yeah, that game was trash.
Yeah.
And so like
Remember me?
a first person like Metroid game, now that they have a controller that could do it with really cool gamepad functionality. Like there's plenty of
Yeah.
gamepad functionality that could be built into that naturally. So
We got to look this up, but those games kind of sell worse and worse each time around, and they're actually huge failures in Japan. Nobody cares about Metroid in Japan.
Yeah.